evening, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my buddy Ryan Ennis. Ryan, how's it going, man?
Everything's going good, man. How about yourself?
I had an adventure today, as I told you earlier, where I left my last physical therapy appointment at 4:30, which is like rush hour down this way. And what
Yeah.
normally takes me like between 50 and 55 minutes to get home took me 90 minutes to get home.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Cuz there was and I'm sure you've heard it, cuz 95 is one of the worst highways in the country. There was like 3 accidents within like a less than 10-mile radius.
Well, yeah, that sounds like New York, New Jersey.
Yeah. But once I got back into New Jersey, it wasn't bad. It was just getting to New Jersey.
From Delaware?
Yeah. It was literally, if I could talk, like gridlock.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like when I came to your wedding, I'm so glad I left like an hour and a half early
Yeah.
because of the infamous New York traffic.
Yeah, not cool.
How's the PT going for you with your shoulder?
Uh, Good. Aggressive, but it's got to be in order for things to get better. So I'm happy with that.
And for those that don't know, Ryan got his one shoulder completely replaced. He sent me the photo when
It
they
looks,
took it was like an X-ray, right?
yeah, it looks like a Hitachi
Yeah, it
vibrator.
basically does. Yeah,
But
that's the first thing I said when I saw it.
I think that's been just about everybody's reaction. I'm like, yes, I have a vibrator in my arm.
Hey, could be worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose.
Lance is saying that he used to complain about traffic till he got to London.
Oh yeah, and yeah, traffic, and then I'm sure traffic here far supersedes London. So
I hate New York City traffic.
yeah, it's pretty awful.
Even when I left, like your reception at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, it was still like almost bumper to bumper traffic.
Yep, that's how we do.
It when they say it's the city that never sleeps, it's really true.
Yeah, my wife and I have been caught in traffic at like 12:30 at night trying to get back into New York City from Jersey.
I remember
It's like,
you
how
told
are
me
we
this
in bumper
before.
to bumper traffic at midnight?
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, before we get rolling with some news and stuff, don't forget to check out the social media stuff. You can find it at facebook.com/American Sports Connection, Twitter at ASC Pods, Instagram is at American Sports Connection. Let's see, best way to find our whole catalog on B Plus Player Radio. Best way to do that is on Twitter at B Plus Radio. The entire catalog's there. And don't forget to check out our sponsors over at the Squared Circle magazine. You can find them on Twitter at TSC Wrestling Mag. Use promo code ASCPOD and you can get 10% off your order. All right, now you actually just told me something very interesting right before we got online. Do you want to tell the viewers about that,
Yeah.
Ryan?
Apparently, CM Punk's first wrestling-related appearance has been announced, and it will be the night before the All In pay-per-view, which is something that Cody and the Young Bucks are self-funding. And it's going to be at a signing at the Pro Wrestling Tees store the day before.
Yeah, and
So,
that's like outside of Chicago, if I remember correctly.
yeah, and I believe it's being held right outside of Chicago, the event as well. So, yeah,
Yes.
his next UFC fight is actually, I believe it's like June 9th or June 19th, so it's way prior to that. Because All In is September 1st, so it's months later.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the actual wrestling where it's going to be at.
The Sears Something Center. I think it's a 10,000 person arena. I think that's their goal, is to get 10,000 people in. And I'm telling you, having CM Punk work his first show on that card, plus he's close friends with Cody. As far as I know, he's close friends with Cody. And they've had open lines of communication. And I also think he's friends with the Bucks.
I believe you're right, because they were all in Ring of Honor, I think, at one point. Well, not so much Cody, but the Bucks and Punk.
One of those three, I'm fairly certain, because I know it was somebody related with the Bullet Club, said that they made some kind of thing like he'd be the first one we'd call up, or something like that. But it definitely lets you know that like they were friends. Like,
okay, not to cut you off, where the show is being held is September 1st at the Sears Center in Chicago.
Okay, the Sears something. The Sears Center. I wasn't sure if it was Sears something like Pavilion Center or if it was Commerce Center, but it was just the Sears Center.
And it says they're going to be having a wrestling podcast convention.
Huh.
Because I know Pritchard's podcast was announced for it, and a couple other ones I know. I just
okay. Have you listened to Pritchard's podcast
on the network?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
What's your truthful opinion?
My thoughts
on it? Do
you
enjoy them? Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Okay, because I haven't watched, but just a promo for I talk about all the things they tell me not to. It just makes me not want to watch it to begin with.
No, I know what you mean.
Like you're a fucking bad boy now? Your brother love. Are you kidding me?
No, you know what I do, and you're gonna people might laugh when I say this. When I watch it, I don't have the screen up. Like, you know, if you watch like a video or something, you'll sometimes have the screen up because you want to watch it. If I watch his podcast, I'm doing other things because I hate to sound rude, but I can't look at him and Conrad.
You can't look at him and what?
The dude, Conrad, his co-host.
Oh, I don't know who his co-host is.
He's the one that used to host Flair's podcast. Now he's a big guy on MLW.
I have no idea.
It's like one of the. It might actually be the #1 podcasting network. Wrestling related.
Higher than Podcast One?
Yeah.
Podcast One has all the good ones, though. Austin's, Jericho's.
I know Jim Ross isn't on there anymore.
I really wasn't a fan of Jim Ross's. Jim Ross's is him and his old fucking opinions. Like, it's not 1964 Oklahoma, bro.
To be honest with you, dude, I would skim through it. Like, cause you know he always would have like his long, like, I don't want like
monologues.
Like a monologue about like the week on wrestling. I would usually fast forward through it.
The opener, yeah. Austin does them. Sometimes I skip past Austin's.
Yeah, it really depends.
Some of Jericho's episodes I don't even watch because it has nothing to do with wrestling.
Yeah, he'll have like rock and roll people on there and different things. Yeah, you're right, Lance. Lance had said Pritchard's podcast has won Sports Podcast of the Year 2 times.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like Pritchard. I don't like him at all. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
so.
no. I can see where you could feel he's very, like, condescending.
That's exactly what it is. And it's just like...
I feel like when you mentioned he'll say, well, I'll say the things nobody else says or all this and that. I feel like he holds back.
What do you mean?
He doesn't want to say what he's really thinking because he doesn't want to offend Vince and them because he wants to keep that avenue open. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure he does. Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I always feel. So
I don't know. I kind of maybe it's just me being ignorant, but I kind of classify him in the same field that I put Cornette, and I can't fucking stand Cornette. There's a lot of
I
other.
will say this. Sometimes I've listened to some of them, and some of them are really good, and then others are not. Because like some of them will go like 4 hours, and I can't listen to a show that is that long.
See, like it depends because like I'll watch. I'm a very big fan of Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll have some real interesting because he does his podcast, and sometimes they're like 3-hour podcasts, but they're so. It's not one topic. Like, so much shit gets talked about. And what I like about Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan will have his point of view. But he'll say, I don't know shit about this. And if he learns new stuff, he'll change his point of view, which is something nobody does. People are
I
so
understand.
married to their opinions, whether it be politics, whether it be on wrestling. It doesn't matter. It's like we live in a day and age where people are so married to their opinion that it defines them in a way.
Right, it's like, this is how I feel, and I'm on this side of the fence, and I'm not changing how I feel no matter what.
Yeah, like, my feeling makes me who I am.
Right. But no, I understand what you're saying, where if it's something that's compelling, like, broadcasting, it doesn't feel like it's 3 hours.
Yeah, or if it's just, people shooting the shit not being know-it-alls. I can't stand fucking know-it-alls.
Yeah, I understand.
And he also says, like, he comes from a very, one type of a background. So it's like when, he's not afraid to talk about, like, shit that's going on. And sometimes he'll be like, I don't know this. And then, like, he'll have somebody on that will give him the point of view. And it's usually in, like, fact base.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, like, that I can sit through. I don't want to hear, overly opinionated people. And that's, I guess, what I worry that's going to be.
No, that makes absolute sense. The other thing that's come up this week in the news, and I think I'd mentioned it to you, Kevin Owens mentioned that he just recently signed a brand new 5-year deal with WWE.
Absolutely good for him. So I'm very happy. I think he deserves it. It shows that WWE sees a future in him. So
especially if they're giving him 5 years, because I don't think they give a lot of people that many years on a deal.
I don't think so either. But I definitely think that they see a very big future for him.
Yeah, and he basically said in this interview that I read that he's going to wrestle in WWE as long as they'll let him, and that he's basically going to retire there from the gist I got of it.
Yeah, if he has it his way, yeah, absolutely.
Can't say that I blame him after all the hard work he put in on the independent scene.
No, I agree. No, if there's anybody who really deserves that, I'll say him 100%.
Yeah, because you had met him back some years ago.
Still one of the coolest moments of my life. Just getting to sit there talking to Kevin Steen about independent wrestling the night before he dropped the Ring of Honor World title to Jay Briscoe. So I'm sitting there talking to the Ring of Honor World Champion, just like nothing, and it was one of the coolest moments of my life.
That's what I've always heard, that Kevin is just a laid-back, chill dude.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd still be so cool now. He definitely went and unfriended the people on Facebook that he was friends with that he doesn't know in person, because I still have the link to what his Facebook page is, like he's legitimate, but I'm not friends with him anymore. And that happened sometime shortly after he got signed, which I understand. If I was just friending anybody and then randomly got famous, I'd probably get rid of the people who I don't really know.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, where they're more like associates.
Because this is like his legitimate Kevin Steen account, the human being. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean, like his
of
personal
his wife
private
and kids,
shit.
yeah. So I guess it's a lot easier when you're not worldwide famous than it is once you get,
No, it totally makes sense.
So.
Some other news I read, it had just come out, even though she was injured back in February. Rosemary apparently tore her ACL when she wrestled Jessica Havoc. I think it was at AAW in February. And then, I don't know when the Impact tapings were, but she worked those tapings injured in a match against Su Yung so they could write her off.
I actually don't know, because I know when they taped when they taped their set of tapings in January, I don't know if they've had a recent taping. I could be completely wrong, but that taping where Eddie Edwards, oh, maybe they have, where Eddie Edwards got hit in the face with the bat.
Yeah.
That was part of like a 3-month, I think they taped like 12 or 13 weeks in that time period, because they were down there for 6 days, 6 or 7 days. I don't even know if any of that stuff has been too recent, other than I guess they had a pay-per-view or something on Twitch.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, but everything I read is that she's probably going to be out for the rest of the year.
I mean, and that's unfortunate, because she was just getting her footing.
And she's got such a unique character. Like, it's different, really, than anything else out there.
She reminds me in the same vein as Daphne back in the day.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit.
Just so anti-diva, so... I don't know, just almost to the point that it's not even like... You don't look at her and see a female wrestler. You see a character out and out.
Yeah.
Which you really don't get a lot with female wrestlers. They're all personalities and pretty faces, and like this is the first one that's like a gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because her whole face is painted. I mean, I think the closest thing to her is Nikki Cross, but Nikki Cross is like the Disney version of that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I just hope she stays where she is, because people are like, oh, come to WWE. I think they wouldn't know it. One thing to do with that character.
I don't know if that's necessarily true, though.
I don't know.
With
That's
sanity.
just how I feel with their writers, and I shouldn't bash them, but you know what I mean.
Bro, after Backlash, you have every right to bash that fucking company. Bro,
we're getting to that.
Yeah, for the last year, I've made a very big concerted effort to be more open-minded about things. Fuck Backlash. Backlash was awful, bro.
I didn't mind the first, I'll say the first half was okay. The second half was god awful.
Well, I mean, like, you had the match of the night start off the show.
Yes. And
By a long shot.
Did you see who produced that match?
Yes. Tyson Kidd.
So I think that means that they need to let Tyson Kidd do some more producing there. Because that was the match of the night, like you said.
No, you're completely right.
Oh, one quick thing before we delve deeper into this. Did you hear about Charlotte's injuries?
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up when you brought up Raw, because that's who I thought you were going to bring up at first. Yeah, first she had a popped implant that they were going to fix, and now apparently she had teeth knocked out at, I think they're in Germany.
Yeah, they're overseas, and they said she went to take a picture with a fan, and she felt that her teeth were missing, and she apologized and said she couldn't take the picture.
Yeah, or at least that's what the fan said. That she said that she couldn't take the picture because she had lost teeth.
But that's crazy.
I don't know, man. It's very possible. Like, half the time these guys take shots to the face. I don't know how people don't lose teeth or how their teeth don't chatter. I'm so surprised more people aren't like Nakamura and wear a mouthpiece.
Remember when it happened to The Miz?
But that was just a chip tooth.
Yeah.
That was from AJ just hitting him with a spinning back fist, and it just broke his tooth.
Yeah.
But, like, oh my god. Like, always worst will always be fucking Cesaro.
Oh my god, yeah, that was the worst. Ooh.
Now, I've seen guys like Foley have his teeth knocked out. Cesaro had his teeth knocked up. And then continued to wrestle.
Yeah, like literally all the way up through his lip. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, and I'm sure you probably heard about it.
10 times, I don't know.
Big Cass apparently has heat on him.
Yeah.
Because he went, from what I understand, was he was only supposed to give the Daniel Bryan lookalike a boot, and he went and, like, I guess punched him a few times and then gave him a boot or something like that.
I actually went back and watched this today, like, to see what the actual complaint was. What happened? Apparently, he was supposed to punch, big boot him, and just do his new thing where he steps over the guy like he did to Daniel Bryan with the traditional Diesel pose with his arm up in the air. What he did was he kicked. Well, first of all, the agents and apparently Vince told him, just give him the boot and do the pose. He hit him with a boot, and then he started paintbrushing him while he was on the floor, passed out.
Okay.
You know, like smacking him back and forth.
Yeah, like almost bitch slapping him.
If you go back and look, he looks surprised that the refs came out. Go back and watch that. He looks like taken aback that the refs are there. I bet you Vince sent the refs out there. Because he does not know that they're about to hit the ring. Because when he turns around, he's not reacting like he expected them to be there.
That's interesting. I gotta tell you, dude, I don't think he's long for there, because that match with Daniel Bryan was not very good.
Oh, not at all.
And like I told someone else, if Daniel Bryan cannot get a good match out of you, you're in trouble.
Very much so. I would agree with that.
Yeah, the other thing I thought that was strange was the finish for the AJ Styles Nakamura match.
Yeah, the double fucking
kick to the groin.
Yeah, like, I don't understand that. Like, this got Vince written all over it.
I mean, I'm trying to give it, like, benefit of the doubt to kind of see where they go, because they still have, like, 6 weeks until Money in the Bank, but it's just strange.
I don't know.
And then the other thing I wanted to point out, I didn't mind the main event. The problem I had with it was they used too many holds, like where Samoa Joe's got him in a headlock or a chin lock, or you know what I mean?
How do I put it? I don't think that was the kind of match anybody wants to see from Roman.
Plus, for Samoa Joe, it doesn't really utilize his talent.
I don't think those slow, methodical matches are good to begin with, and I definitely don't believe you should be ending pay-per-views with them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, you could get away with that in, like, 1993, but not now.
Or if you had a legitimate story behind it.
Yes.
That is such a thrown-together feud that, what am I invested in? Like, give me action. Like, that's when you have a barn burner. Two guys.
Well, especially when one guy is on one show and the other guy's on another show, and it's not a title match. It's just like a throw together.
What they kept saying, bragging rights.
Yeah, which makes no sense. Well, like Lance just said about the Nakamura match, they had basically a double DQ in a no DQ match.
Yeah. Yeah, only WWE can manage to pull that fucking shit off.
Yeah. I actually felt bad for Kevin and Sammy because that looked like another cluster thrown together match.
Bro, all I'm gonna say is Braun Strowman's a fucking monster.
Yes.
Did you, like, that first time he hit Owens, Owens legitimately, like, spun and flipped, like...
Yeah, no, he hit him so hard that he did that on his own. He didn't have to try.
There was no grace. What's the matter, babe? Sorry.
That guy's, like, frighteningly strong.
And fast, too, man.
Yeah, like, it's crazy what he can do. And I have to bring this up now that, like, past Backlash. Did you watch the whole Bobby Lashley, like, interview they had with Renee Young? I think it was.
I love my sisters. I love my sisters. Yes, I have no idea where they're going with that.
Dude, it was, like, cringe-worthy bad.
I don't know what they are doing with that. He was walking Armageddon in TNA, and now he's having an interview about how he's telling boring-ass stories about
They
his
should have just, like you said, make him walking Armageddon.
Bro, he's somebody who legitimately could be put up against Braun, against Brock.
And then they could be potentially entertaining.
You know what I could see them doing? Although I think it would be a waste of having to do it this way, but it would be believable in getting the title off of Brock, and nobody, like, even into Vince's mindset that Brock is so, like, untouchable. Let Brock Roman go on at SummerSlam. Let Brock again win. And then just as the match is over, Mr. Money in the Bank, Braun Strowman, comes and cashes in.
There you go.
Like, then, like, even when Lesnar loses, he's still as protected as possible because he lost after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it makes sense. Lance is saying to turn Lashley heel and make him a Paul Heyman guy.
Okay. Well, just turn him heel and let him just be walking Armageddon.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't cut terrible promos.
No.
He's nowhere near as bad as he used to be.
No.
He doesn't have the charisma of some guys, but he's much better than he used to be. Plus, he's got a better MMA record than Brock Lesnar. Considerably better.
The one thing when I think of Lashley's run lately in WWE is when he almost killed Big Cass in the Rumble.
Oh, bro.
With
Yeah,
that
you're not kidding.
suplex, I was
Yeah.
like, dear God.
And then they were like, he hit him with a brain buster. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what that was. I was like, I'm surprised his neck isn't broken.
Oh my God, that was scary.
And I don't know who to even fault with that. Do you fault whoever told him to try to do that spot with a 6'10" man?
Yeah, it's just weird. Well,
That's
did
okay,
you?
baby. I'm sorry.
I
Sorry, Mike.
read also that Lesnar's not going to work Money in the Bank now, and the plan is I think he's not coming back till July or August at the latest.
Yeah, I heard SummerSlam, but by that he'll have the all-time record or like the longest modern day era thing. He'll take that off of Punk, but he'll only have defended his title 12 times.
Yeah. Well, because what I was reading is the reason is he's training for a UFC fight.
I haven't read that. I'm
I
not
read that
saying
he's
that that's not
back
true, but
that he's back in the USADA testing.
see, that's a big deal because I've heard conflicting reports on how long he really would be out. I've heard up to 14 months.
Yeah.
Now,
Either way, it's interesting.
I think it was either Joe Rogan or Brandon Schaub were explaining it because he's another one I like, Brandon Schaub. Although sometimes he needs to shut the fuck up and like think before he talks because he says stupid things like, and it's not even on purpose.
Yeah.
But
I'll
he's
say
another
this
funny
though,
guy.
bro. I know Vince and them are not happy with Big Cass because he wasn't even on SmackDown after the pay-per-view.
Well, he was. He was. Was he? Wasn't he taking credit for? That's why Daniel Bryan lost, or was that like a .com exclusive?
That
Because
was
I
a
know I saw
.com
him.
exclusive.
Okay.
Speaking of which,
Right.
I thought that was really cool that they did that because Rusev really needed that big win.
Yeah.
Like that was good booking for once.
Have they specified yet whether it's one or two Money in the Bank matches?
No.
Because I'm thinking the third Money in the Bank is going to be the tag team.
Right, and I'm assuming it's going to be. And remember, like before, it would be like, well, you're going to have a Raw Money in the Bank, or you're going to have a SmackDown Money in the Bank. I think it's just going to be like a dual Money in the Bank.
That's what I think. I think they're all going to be co-branded.
Yeah, like one for the guys, one for the girls, and one for the tag teams. I think that's how they're going to do. Because didn't you say that they're green? They had a picture and they were of the cases and they were green.
No, the case shows red, white, and blue.
Okay.
However, when they were in the ring Monday, the case was green.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
So, but then again, I don't know if that's an official poster. I think it is. I am pretty certain that it is. But I'm 99% certain that the color of the briefcase that was hanging above the ring during the men's match was green. Because I know it was white when the women were wrestling. So I know they changed it. So that was a conscious decision for that color to be up there.
No, I agree with you. And I was thoroughly enjoyed the women's triple threat they had on Raw this week. The one
I'm
with
trying to remember.
Ember,
Yes, yes.
Ruby Riott, and Sasha.
Yeah, I mean, Sasha was in there with two people who made her look, really good. So, because I'm off the whole Sasha Banks is a good wrestler bandwagon.
Yeah, and I liked the finish where Ember hit him with like the double stunner.
Yes,
That was really cool looking.
it was. That was cool. I mean, she did it in NXT, but that's how she ended up winning the title. She did that on Nikki Cross and what's the Australian that just got called up? Not Peyton Royce, the other one. Oh yeah, Peyton Royce, not Billie Kay.
Yeah. The thing that's still a head scratcher to me, bro, is the tag team of McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, that is kind of a weird pairing.
It was just really like, I really don't get it.
I mean, it can work together. I mean, it's. I like the pairing, don't get me wrong. I really do like the pairing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like an old school kind of tag team. Like you got one guy who's the muscle and one guy who's the work. Except that the muscle can work.
Lance is saying it's like the new Shawn and Diesel.
I've heard a couple people say that. That's not completely inaccurate.
I like how they've had the finish with the match where it was like basically both their finishers in like a combo kind of move.
Yeah.
Like
I really like that Claymore kick though, bro.
Oh, that's nasty. It's really nasty.
Yeah, he's a huge human being.
And what did you think of your boy Jinder costing Roman a chance at Money in the Bank?
Don't hinder Jinder, bro. I'm telling you. That dude needs to... He should be the one to beat Brock Lesnar.
Well, remember he was supposed to fight him and then it got changed.
Because Brock was afraid of him. Brock was afraid Jinder was going to hurt him. For reals. He's going to hit him with that tiger knee.
You never know.
I really, I like Jinder. Oh, did you see the screenshot of that picture I sent you today?
No. Refresh my memory.
Somebody, okay. I was watching Ride Along.
Oh, yes. Now I remember.
It was a picture of Bobby Roode in a jacked whenever WWE Metal was.
Yeah, Metal. Rudy Rude.
Yeah, Rudy Rude. R-U-D-Y.
Say that 3 times fast.
Rudy Rude.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's so cool. Like, how did I never know this?
Like Lance is saying, good luck trying to make Roman a face against Jinder. They're going to cheer Jinder 100%.
Yeah, I've also heard, and I don't know how much I actually believe this, that this was real eye-opening for Vince because he really considers the
New York market a big deal.
Yeah, but then other reports came out completely disagreeing with that, saying that he's rationalizing it by people, like it was late and on a Sunday.
Well, my first thought was he's going to say it's Samoa Joe's fault. That was my first thought.
But they were cheering Joe and booing Roman.
Oh, I know. But you know what I mean, for the reason that all the people walked out. Oh, it was because Samoa Joe was in the main event. I had a feeling that was how he was going to rationalize it.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't think that there's any way he doesn't know that people have disdain for Roman. I just think that he keeps looking for ways, for people to love him. Look how long that they did it with Cena. Come on. I mean, like, now we're at the point that nobody really gives a fuck if Cena turns heel.
Yeah, no.
How many times have we said, well, if they're going to do it, it's going to be now?
Right. I think the other thing, bro, why people left is because the pay-per-view went over. It didn't get done until 11:30 on the East Coast, and I'm wondering if people were, as I would call it, WWE, like, worn out, because with WrestleMania in April was what? done at midnight almost.
Bro, you're telling me
And
that if
then
that's
then they just had the Greatest Royal Rumble recently. That was like 6 hours, and then another long show. I think they just were like burnt out.
but these people weren't in the building for WrestleMania and the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Right.
So you're telling me that if the exact same card in the exact same amount of time, but if AJ Styles and Nakamura went on less, people would have been leaving?
No.
There you go. So it didn't have much to do with people being tired. It's because they didn't give a fuck who was closing the show.
Well, and I'll tell you this right now, and if they put out that finish that they had at Backlash with Nakamura and AJ Styles to end the show, people would have been furious.
Oh, absolutely. But there would have been people there to see it. Like, people wouldn't have left.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It was just a shitty finish to begin with. I am not a fan of of no finishes on pay-per-view. But now that people aren't necessarily paying for pay-per-view...
Well, and the other reason is because AJ beat him clean at Mania, and then they've had 2 wonky finishes back-to-back.
Well, I'm pretty sure that other than Hacksaw and the first Royal Rumble, Nakamura is so far the only Royal Rumble winner that has not had a world title run at some point. I can't think of anybody else who's won the Rumble but never won a title in their career.
I'm about to look it up.
I'm not counting Duggan because the first year, I don't know if they knew that.
Yeah,
that
no,
was
the
gonna
first
be
year
a
they
thing.
did not. Did Big
Well,
John Studd ever win the title?
No.
Okay, then he's won.
But he won what? Which Royal Rumble?
1989.
First one was 88?
Yeah.
So then it was the first 2. And then I think after that, everybody else has one.
Yeah, I'm looking. Bear with me a second. Yeah. He's the only one with the exception of Duggan and Big John Studd.
Yeah, definitely since they had introduced the rule that the winner gets a title shot at WrestleMania. But yeah, it was the first 2 and now Nakamura. I mean, that could change if Nakamura wins the title, but I thought that was an interesting little note. Because I don't think that if he doesn't win the title now, I don't think he's winning the title ever. You know what I mean?
Like, he'll never be able to recover from it.
Yeah, if Vince isn't going to give it to him after he wins a Royal Rumble, I don't know when he would be, he'd get it.
I would have to believe, and this is just my personal opinion, that would frustrate him almost to the point of wanting to go back home after his deal's up.
Maybe. I mean, it also depends on how much money he's making here. He's more of a
yeah,
star
that
here
too.
than he ever would have been in Japan, even if he would have had the Japanese. I mean, I believe he was the. I believe he's held the world title there, the heavyweight title. I mean,
Lance doesn't think that Vince will ever give it to him.
I'm beginning to feel that way.
He doesn't. This is his exact words were, "No way in hell Vince would ever give a Japanese guy the world title." And before people correct me and say, no, Yokozuna won the world title, he was not Japanese.
Does anybody listening who thinks Yokozuna is Japanese, how did you find this podcast?
Yeah. Because Yokozuna was Samoan.
Yeah, he's
and the funny thing
related
is,
to The Rock.
Yeah, well, the funny
Roman.
thing is, dude, years ago when he would wrestle in his matches, he would yell out, Samoa!
That's so funny. But, like, now you look at him and you're like, how did anybody ever think...
Yeah, how did anybody ever believe he was Japanese?
He looks like one of the head shrinkers.
Yes.
Mainly because he was related to them.
Yeah. They were cousins, I believe.
What blew my mind, and this was, not recently, but also not within the last, I'll say 10 years, when I had seen a picture and I realized that Rikishi was Fatu from the Head Shrinkers. Like, the first time that was, like, made a connection in my
Yeah, you're
head.
like, holy shit.
I was like, holy shit. Like, that's Fatu. Did he eat his tag team partner and come back as Rikishi?
That's funny.
So, yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh, we didn't get to talk about this because we weren't here last week. Chris Jericho made his return to New Japan.
Oh, yeah. Super interesting. Apparently he's allowed to do blade stuff, and
he has basically full creative control, from what I understand.
That's what I heard. So yeah, that's good for him, man. I mean, like,
did they announce when he's doing that match?
They may have.
I was just wondering, because I wonder if they're going to do it in the Cow Palace.
Like, I don't know where it's gonna be.
Because that's when New Japan's running again in the States. They're running the Cow Palace.
Huh.
So that's what I was curious about. And Rey Mysterio's getting ready to wrestle again over there.
Wait, what happened? I'm sorry.
Rey Mysterio, he's going back to New Japan as well.
Yes, to fight Ospreay.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I'm actually looking very forward to seeing.
But Ospreay's got to tone that shit down. He almost got really fucking hurt right before Mania.
With that flip bottom to the outside? Yeah.
Where he almost broke his neck.
I mean, these guys aren't going to listen, though. I mean, it's going to... They know better than anybody, and I can't say that I blame them, but it's like, dude, you made a name for yourself now.
We get it. You got to tone that shit down.
Because if he doesn't hurt himself, you could end up hurting somebody else. I mean, it's...
And I think that's worse than hurting yourself, is hurting somebody else.
Oh, absolutely. If you want to do something high risk and hurt yourself, that's one thing. If you want to do something high risk and you end up hurting somebody else, that's a completely different ballgame.
Wow.
That's awful.
Here's something interesting that Lance just put in the chat. He said, people used to say Yokozuna would eat 4 buckets of KFC chicken as a snack all day. Never seen him without one. That's not including his normal meal.
He legitimately topped out at 600 pounds at one point. Like, he was not a healthy human being by any stretch.
I think he was actually heavier than that at one point.
Yeah, I think, like, when he had the longer hair and all of a sudden he spoke English, when he was, like, not Japanese anymore, right before he died, I think he was up to, like, 650.
Yeah, because remember, he was on that really awful pay-per-view that they had, with like a bunch of older wrestlers. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a disaster because like Jake the Snake was in the main event.
This was WWE?
No. It was.
Didn't he die while he was employed for WWE though?
No. This was when they let him go.
For some reason I thought he died while he was still employed with the company.
Okay, thank you, Lance. He thinks it was called Heroes of Wrestling. It was only like one pay-per-view, and it was just awful.
I cannot say.
Yeah, it was in '99. And it was basically a bunch of guys that were past their prime. The main event was Neidhart and King Kong Bundy against Jake Roberts and Yokozuna.
Jesus.
I know, it was bad.
Walking condominium.
But I don't think he lived much longer after that.
I'm trying to think if I saw that because I think I remember seeing something of him non-WWE and he just looked fucking humongous.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. He passed away about less than a year later, October of 2000.
Because I also don't think he was very tall. I don't think he was short, but I don't think he was a very tall human
Oh my
man.
God! They said that when he wrestled this, what I'm referring to, Heroes of Wrestling, he had
700?
topped out at 760.
All right, 760. Is that what he was, or was that what he was being billed?
It says at an estimated 760.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying. He was 6'4".
Yeah, that's not very big.
But that's crazy.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, and the 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 guy from whatchamacallit wanted him to come wrestle. The guy from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's nuts. Speaking of which, for everyone that wanted to complain about them going over there, you're gonna have to get used to it because they're doing another one in November.
Yep.
I don't know if it's gonna be a network special, but they're going back over there in November. I think it's actually to a bigger venue.
Yeah, it's gonna be closer to the capital of Saudi Arabia.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the it's not Jeddah because that's where they just were. Ridaya, Ridaya, Ridayah or something like that. I forget how it's pronounced. I have a friend from there.
Yeah, it's Ridaya Riyadh.
Yeah.
We're both gonna butcher the spelling. Yeah, I can't blame them for going over there wanting to get, big if they're getting big money. And I think they just signed like a 10-year TV deal with them, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, a 10-year deal to go over there and do business. I don't know. Maybe a TV deal on top of it. I don't know.
Oh,
But
okay, I got you.
I know that was the first time that there was ever Arabic announcers
Yeah, they just started doing that.
at this event. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So. Yeah.
Hey, more power to them. Something different, to see now in 2018, because you wouldn't ever see wrestling over there, years ago.
Well, one resident decided to have an opinion on that and got arrested for it.
Yeah, I heard about that. That sucks.
I mean, it could be something just as simple as, by criticizing it, you're criticizing the Crown Prince's.
Yeah, because they're like very serious with that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, people don't realize the freedoms we have here to just talk all the shit you want and, want to think that, like, I don't know. People have it bad elsewhere.
Yeah, remember
People
the rumor was Corey Graves got in trouble for that shit.
I don't know if he got in trouble. I mean, I think that was kind of blown out of proportion because, you can't stop people from caring about civil issues, which is
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I didn't really see anything bad with it where he was just thankful that, he lives here and not there.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be different if he, like, put a picture of the drink that he had and was like, fuck that country, I'm never going back. You know what I mean?
No, I agree fully.
I think, well, I shouldn't say I think, I know that some people take things way out of fucking proportion today.
Also, I think people have nothing better to do but whine and bitch and complain.
Oh, it drives me nuts, dude. But on that note, we're going to get out of here for tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. And we'll see you back next week. Have a good night, everybody.